Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I am here with Yuki Cohen. Yuki is one of our at-large city councilors in Pittsfield. Yuki, thank you for taking the time to do this today.
Hi, hello, hello everybody, and thank you, Mike, for having me here. It's great to see you again.
Yes, likewise.
Mhm,
So for those who are not familiar with you, if you want to just
mhm.
introduce yourself and what your role is as an at-large city councilor in Pittsfield.
Right. So, Yuki Cohen, I guess I call myself a proud Asian woman. I'm a single mother. I own a small business in downtown Pittsfield, and decided to become involved in government and politics because I wanted to make sure that small businesses have a bigger voice, and to see what I can do to make Pittsfield more equitable. I guess that's pretty much it. And my background is in my past life. I do have expertise in analyzing financials and impacts of the economy. So I'm hoping to be able to use that to look at the budget of the city and see what investments we can make that's beneficial for everybody.
Okay. And have you had a chance now to be able to get out and door knock or see people in person?
So luckily, I own a bar, so I do come across a vast cross section of people. So I've had a chance to talk to them extensively, and then everywhere I go, people luckily recognize me. So I've had conversations in supermarkets, and everywhere I go, and so yeah, people. What's in people's mind is just I think there's a lot of insecurity at the moment because we're just coming out of the devastation of COVID. So some people are feeling financially insecure and socially insecure, maybe. So and they're worried about basic survival. Some of them, businesses, obviously, especially my industry, the restaurant and bar industry, were decimated. So try to figure out ways that how do we rebuild that? How do we use the ARPA funds possibly to help those that were um, impacted gravely?
Are there any particular big issues that you're hearing the most from your constituents?
So homelessness is a big thing, and I don't know if you watched the debate, but that was the one thing that across the board the at-large councilors agreed on. That's an issue. So affordable housing, or the I mean, I know there's a perception that market rate housing is outpacing or maybe possibly correlating to the homeless um, the homelessness in Pittsfield. So there is a correlation there. So I would love to take a look at what can we do. I've had conversations with Deanne Roofer from community development, just Justine Dodds from community development as well as CJ Haas from the city planner. And there are things in place that I think that we need to look at closer, like the supportive housing we talked about earlier, which means like let's look at each homeless person, get them the basics that they need, like housing and what's causing the homelessness, possibly mental illness or a drug problem or whatever it is, and let's get them the help that they need to become whole, have a nice base and a springboard that they can thrive in so they can thrive.
Yeah, I agree on that issue. That's a big one, and I feel like we can do much better. And I know
Yeah.
it's not something you can fix overnight, uh, but I think right now with the population that we have, we're approaching 44,000, and we have from the data that's available around 100 or so that are in homelessness. That I think it's
Right.
manageable, and if we can get a hold of that now before that blooms, because
Right.
that's a
Right.
concern too with inflation and everything happening.
Right, absolutely. So there's definitely programs that are available in the city. So I think we just need to I would love to dust them off and just get funding somehow in order to get that up and running. And one person at a time. You're right, it's 100. So we can just start working one at a time.
Okay, and now you're a business owner on North Street, and
Yeah.
as you know, the
Mhm.
bike lanes in North Street has been a big
Mhm.
discussion. What are your feelings on that?
So, and that comes up all the time too. Like people are just absolutely, most people from who I talk to, they do not like the bike lanes. But I'm thinking, so I like to look at things like, all right, so it's here. So what are there any positives to it? I know I do know that encouraging more people to bike is a good thing for the environment and for our health, getting more exercise. So is there something that we can do to make that work? Um, so I thought about in New York City or in some other communities, they have a bike share where you can rent a bike and then just go from, just and then drop it off from one location to another, which would encourage more biking. And then I don't know, possibly that could lead to more income to the city, the same way that we have the what do you call those? The parking meters. So maybe we can use that from the city to have bikes to encourage more people to use it and rent it. And maybe that could be a source of income for the city, possibly. It's worked in other communities. So I'm thinking maybe that's something that we can look at as well.
Do you feel that has it affected your business in any way, positive or negative?
So I mean, I have talked to some people where it has affected their business because a lot of people are now avoiding North Street and they're using possibly First Street to get to where they need to go. So definitely traffic flow might be a little bit slow. But from my perspective, I think because we open a little bit later and they can park on the side streets or they can park across the street. So I have not had any issues with the parking, luckily. So I
Okay,
feel
so
very
when you're open, it's free parking then.
right, right,
Okay.
right.
What are there any other big issues that you're hearing a lot? I know that there's a lot on the table, I think, coming up for the next council. You're going to see wastewater treatment, police station,
Right,
what to do with the schools. Uh,
right.
are any of those school resource officers, are you hearing any of those topics also?
Yes, so I'm hearing about the resource officers, which I agree. And but I also know there's data out there that resource officers may not necessarily treat every kid fairly. So what I would encourage is I feel like we need resource officers, but we need them to be very well trained and be accountable. Maybe somehow make it transparent. Have them report to us quarterly to the public about what's been going on. So I think we can do that. We can do that well with proper training, I believe. And
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, those are definitely big issues. And like I
yes,
said, I know this council coming up, I'm comparing it to what would be under Mayor Fallon, which would have been in the 40s, 30s and
mhm,
40s. But under FDR's structuring, then there was all sorts of federal money that came in and built a lot of Pittsfield that we see today. Uh,
right,
and I think this council is going to be making decisions that will affect the city for the next 50 to 100 years. Um,
absolutely. Especially with the 40 million that's coming in, I do feel and hope that we have more input as a city council. So we'll see. I know the mayor put together a committee together, and I am very encouraged by the people that are in it. But I would love the city council as well to participate in the decision making because I think that's pretty much our job. It's one of our main jobs to make sure that we agree with what the mayor is proposing. So I'm hoping that we can get there to have more input constructively to make sure that we make good use of those funds.
okay. Well, in
Yeah.
closing, I guess what would you say to your constituents on why they should reelect you, and what's the best way for them to get in touch with you if they have any questions?
Right. So I just want to say that I'm coming off my freshman term and I've learned so much through the the more experienced council people. So I am armed with humility, with tools, and I desire to make Pittsfield equitable and fair for every single resident of Pittsfield. And and I'm a single mother and I work really hard. So I have so and that and I like I said, I have the desire to make sure that every person has what they need in order to thrive. And they can call me and I have a vision and I want people to share their vision with me. And my number is 413-347-2888. Call me anytime with your vision of Pittsfield and what you think our best use of resources are.
Okay, well, Councilor Cohen, thank you very much for taking the time to do this again, and I hope to have you on after the election, regardless of results. I
Yes,
think
I would love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a lot of good ideas and input towards the city, and I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, thank you for all you do, Mike. and have fun in London.
Yes, I hope so. All
Thank
right, well,
you.
I
Have a
will be
great,
talking to you very soon.
all right, sounds great. Have a great day. Thank you again.
All right, bye-bye.